Hi, this is Betty, and I'm back. Just wanted to say a couple of things happened in recent days that really disturbed me. So I'm calling this one White Men Behaving Badly. We know that historically, black women and white men have had very unequal relationships. Way back from the time of slavery, white men could say and do what they wanted to black women in particular, to all black people, but to black women, and black women had no recourse. Well, as black women have progressed in the world, we don't have to take what we used to take. We don't have to be quiet about things that happen to us and that are foisted upon us, that we do have a voice and we can speak up. This social media is one way that we can respond to people who try to keep us in our place, put us in our place, treat us badly. Well, this week, two white men in particular, in my opinion, behaved badly toward black women. And I just want to call them out. And they've been called out by others, but I needed to do this. As a woman of a certain age, I feel like I can claim what I know to be true. And what I know to be true is that black women are not going to be disrespected. This is the 21st century. This is 2017. It is not 1864. And so let me just talk about the two white men, Bill O'Reilly from the Fox Network and Sean Spicer, who is the press secretary for the Trump administration. You got to feel a little sorry for Sean Spicer because he's out there every day trying to defend a president who tells lies, a president who tweets lies, a president who is emotional and who I said is 70 going on 13. But let me start with Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly is the star of Fox Network. He makes about $18 million a year just being pugnacious and sometimes outrageous. And on issues of race, he's usually on the wrong side of the coin. Well, for some reason, Bill O'Reilly decided this week that he was going to go after none other than California Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And if you know anything about Maxine, you would realize she's a woman not to be played with. In any event, Maxine Waters was on the floor of Congress giving an impassionate speech about who is a real patriot, who really loves the country. And so Bill O'Reilly and his pals at Fox, they were sitting around the next day talking about what Maxine Waters had to say. Now, if you know anything about Fox, you know that they really don't agree with much that African Americans have to say unless it's one of their own African Americans handpicked and chosen to give them an out for their racist behavior. In any event, somebody asked Bill O'Reilly what he thought about what Maxine Waters had to say. And Bill O'Reilly felt compelled to say he couldn't concentrate on what she was saying because of her wig. Her, not just her wig, but her wig, her James Brown wig. And he thought it was a joke. And the other men on the panel laughed with him because that was considered to be funny. Now, I will say in her defense, the woman on the panel, the white woman on the panel, did say that you cannot take on somebody because of how they look. Well, let's just say that he decided to go to war with Maxine Waters because you know that you do not mess with black women and their hair. Okay? Even though you are the $18 million man at Fox bringing in millions of dollars in revenues for the outrageous stuff that you say, Bill O'Reilly made a mistake taking on Maxine Waters. And Maxine Waters made it clear after his commentary that she would not be intimidated. Maxine Waters has been one of the strongest voices in Congress against the Trump administration. She has not bit her tongue, and she has said, unlike other members of the Congressional Black Caucus, I'm not going to the White House to meet him. In other words, as far as Maxine Waters is concerned, Trump is illegitimately in the presidency. But let's get back to the James Brown wig. What would possess Bill O'Reilly to go after Maxine Waters' wigs? Well, once you know the history of this guy, that his network has paid out about maybe $13 million to settle sexual harassment suits filed against him, allegations by white women, you can imagine what he thinks about black women. And they have settled these suits, and it doesn't matter how many times he gets sued for sexual harassment. He makes so much money for Fox that they just let him get away with murder. Well, I'm just saying that this is 2017. We are not mammies. And Maxine Waters, I would just say to that sister, her response was very measured. But most of us who are black women that have been out in the world one way or the other, we have had these kind of insults hurled at us. And I would say that I wouldn't want to mess with Maxine Waters. That's the kind of sister it looks to me, that she will take that wig off, put a scarf on and some grease on her face and take her earrings off and come whip some behind. So I think Bill O'Reilly, before he takes on another black woman, he better think. As Aretha said, you better think about what you do to me. Now let me get to the other white man who I thought behaved badly last week toward a black woman, and that's Sean Spicer. Sean Spicer took on April Ryan. April Ryan is a White House correspondent for the Urban Network News Radio, and April is well known. She's been a journalist for years. Well, apparently April asked a question that Sean Spicer didn't like, and basically she was asking the question that everybody's asking: how is the Trump administration going to find its footings when there's so many scandals, there's so many allegations of scandal, and the president is tweeting, and the president is taking on Snoop Dogg, and this one and that one? How does this administration find its footing? Well, April asked a question, Sean tried to respond, and then April did a follow-up. And the next thing you know, Sean Spicer looks at April and tells her that she needs to stop shaking her head. What? And April, I think, put her head down because she didn't want to say, you keep this up, I'm about 10 seconds off your behind. But she did good. She put her head down. And I said, did he actually tell this sister to stop shaking her head? It wasn't as if April was swiveling her neck and had her hands on her hip, which she easily could have, because she knows what the deal is. She knows when she's being disrespected. But for Sean Spicer to tell this professional woman, this journalist, how to act, I think that April Ryan handled herself extremely well given the situation. Because in effect, what he did was to call her out in front of her colleagues, try to make her look like, she was being the angry black woman as opposed to a correspondent asking a question. You see, this is a comfort zone that I think that some white men seem to have gotten in, that they could just say anything and do anything to anybody. Well, women in general are not going to be harassed. And black women, even though we're still at the bottom of the economic ladder in so many ways, we are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. So I would say to white men in power, when you decide that you're going to act badly, you may in fact get a sister that will swivel her hips, swiggle her neck, put her hands on her thing, okay, take her wig off and whip your behind. You do not mess with a black woman's hair, and you do not mess with a black woman and try to call her out in public. I'm just saying, the next time you get that in your mind, April may not be so professional. And Maxine Waters may have a lot more to say than Lord. So I think that Donald Trump, I think that Sean Spicer, I think that Bill O'Reilly, all of these men who have power, understand that we are not mammy. This is not Gone with the Wind America. This is not pre-Civil War. We are not going back. You are not going to talk to us any kind of way. And when you do, the sisters are going to come for you. We're going to call you out. We're going to embarrass you. And some of us who are really smart may even figure out to file a lawsuit and maybe get paid the way some of those white girls have been getting paid from the Fox network who said that they were harassed by Bill O'Reilly. We don't always get millions, but I tell you what, we need to make use of the EEOC and any other vehicles we need when people call us out of our names or try to harass us and embarrass us. We are not going back. We are not going back. So you don't have to agree with this. You don't have to like what I'm saying, but I'm just saying. Thank you. See you next time.